territory of Nunavut, Canada. This is the only province or territory in Canada that has no road access to it whatsoever. We're going to be on a floatplane flying into the Arctic Barren lands over some of the most remote areas in the world. And our pickup point is from the Arctic coast. So it is such a far flight that our floatplane pilot actually has to go and cache fuel so we can land partway to our put-in, refuel the floatplane, and then drop us off. The Hood River is an advanced level whitewater trip. There's substantial portaging, including one portage that is 11 kilometers long. It might take us as much as 3 days, and it skirts a massive waterfall, the world's largest circumpolar falls, which is the largest waterfall north of the Arctic Circle in the entire world. There's going to be tundra grizzlies. We're going to have polar bears, caribou, muskox, Arctic wolves. There's going to be giant lake trout, and it's just a spectacular river, and I'm super excited to be heading off on this trip with Ted. It should be just an absolutely wild ride and some very different country than anything you've seen in my videos yet. And before too long, you should see me and Ted getting dropped off in a float plane in the middle of the raw wilderness of the Arctic Barren lands. The Hood River got its name due to Franklin's first overland expedition, which included travel on this river, or more or less walking up the river and then crossing it and walking all the way back to Great Slave Lake, which is the lake Yellowknife's on. And a lot of them starved to death on that expedition, including Robert Hood, who was likely cannibalized, and that's what the river's named after, the Hood River. Oh my God, dude.
Oh my God, it's enormous.
If we dump here, there's pretty much nowhere else to get over, and we'd have to swim the whole canyon. And if our boat gets lost in here, then it's going to be very hard to retrieve if it gets hung up in an eddy or on a rock. There it is. You see it? It looks definitely like an old Inuit site of some sort. Look at this. Okay, well, here we are at Jack Pine Paddle in beautiful Yellowknife, Northwest Territories. We got a gorgeous day, and this is the jumping off point for me and Ted's 3-week canoe expedition down the Hood River. And before we get going, we need to get dialed in. Ted and I are each going to be soloing, and in order to meet our very stringent float plane payload restrictions, Ted is going to take a folding canoe, so it doesn't have to be strapped to the outside of the plane, and that means we get a lot more gas mileage. I'm taking a hard shell. We have to be really tight on gear on this one. Not counting our camera equipment, we need only 360 pounds of gear between the two of us, and we are just weighing stuff out, pulling stuff up, going over our gear again and again, and yeah, it's going to be a challenge to get dialed in. So definitely put Jack Pine Paddle on your radar if you're heading for a trip based out of Yellowknife or in the Northwest Territories. Ted, how you feeling about this?
Pretty good. You know, when I first got here, I was a little like, haven't had a lot of sleep, so it took some thinking, which I'm already like, you know, pretty handicapped in that department. So then with the lack of sleep and all this figuring and technical stuff and all these people watching me, you know, it's I think I flipped the deck about 48 times before I figured out a configuration I wanted. But you know, with the help of Jack Pine staff and the mods that Morgan from Northwater made me, I feel like I've got a pretty good system. So nice. It's gonna be good. I also talked to another guy that has paddled the Hood already, and just made me like twice as stoked about doing it. So pretty pumped.
I got a lot of running around to do. I have to head over to Overlander Sports and pick up my NovaCraft 15-foot Prospector, buy some bear spray, pick up some fuel, and just do a little bit of running around. We're gonna go to the floatplane base, get everything dialed in, and hopefully first thing tomorrow morning at 5 a.m., we're gonna be on a floatplane flying into the Arctic Barren lands on a very, very long floatplane shuttle over some of the most remote areas in the world. Okay, so here we are at Amek Air in Yellowknife, and now it's the final bit of crunch time. We have to come in so light. We can only bring 360 pounds of gear on this trip, and there's no trees, so there's no fires, there's no opportunity to cook over fire. You have to bring more fuel. We do have a stick stove, but on the Barrens, sometimes there's sticks and sometimes there isn't. Good idea to have some fuel with you, that's for sure. It's a mandatory thing for the most part. We're gonna take all of this over to the scales here at the floatplane base and meticulously weigh everything. And at that point, when we come up with our final weight, which is hopefully dead on 460 pounds or less, because we're packing 100 pounds of camera equipment out here, he's going to tell us, listen, you got to throw some stuff. And at that point, we're really going to have to make some hard decisions. We've already dumped a lot of our food, left it back at home. We're going to be having to get about 3,000 calories a day off the land through fishing mostly and foraging and whatnot. But now is truly crunch time with the weigh-in. So fingers crossed. All right. What's our total weight? 440 kilograms.
Absolutely everything.
We all got on the scale. We loaded everything up. We're just waiting to hear back from the dispatch, the owner, to tell us if we made it, if we made our weight. But I think we did because we paid them a lot of money to drop fuel caches off at the end of the day. So I think that everything has worked out, and all our anxiety about the amount of gear we have and being overweight, having to dump food and stuff, has been avoided, which is amazing. We're still going really low on calories on this trip. We're gonna have to be living off the land to a large extent, but we think the fishing's gonna be good out there. And yeah, we're super excited. So man, what a whirlwind. Tomorrow morning, we're gonna make it here at the, I would say crack of dawn, but it never really gets dark here. So tomorrow morning, first thing in the morning, we'll be here probably 6 a.m. and we will fly out. So we're super excited, and we're super happy that we made our way in. Yes, Ted. High five. Well, our plane just showed up and we got everything dialed in last night, and we are just about to fly out of Yellowknife, Northwest Territories here into the Arctic Barren lands. It's about a 4-hour flight. We have to stop at some fuel that was cached on the way, refuel, and we're just about to jump on this plane for what should be a beautiful but long flight. So feel a little nervous, but we feel really confident that we got everything dialed in yesterday. We are taxiing out right now. In a few minutes, we should be in the air. So we are at a remote lake on the Barrens, and it's called White Wolf Lake. There's actually an old cabin here from a hunter that burnt down. So there's some boats here, so they cached the fuel here. How many do you want in there, Jeff? Well, we did it. We're gassed up. Last leg of the journey coming up. We're gonna taxi back to the lake, take off into the wind. Find a proper place to pull up here. Maybe not possible on this lake, so we're essentially loading the canoe from the floatplane pontoon, and Ted's gonna jump in and paddle it to shore, and we're gonna have to do a couple trips, but we're starting to drift away, so never a dull moment. This can go. All right, this one's pretty heavy. That's stuck on something. Yeah, it's like 60 pounds, I think. That one is heavy too. Everything heavy, basically. Here's the seat to the folding canoe, but careful because the brackets can fall out of it. So what are your thoughts on the weather? How do you think it's gonna? Is this gonna hold up for a bit?
Yeah, we have this high here, stationary high here, so
yeah.
It should be good.
Okay.
Good for a while anyway.
I trust the bush pilot any day before the news. We're a weatherman any day, man.
You guys have lots of fun.
We will.
Yeah, appreciate it,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah.
Thanks
Take
a lot.
care.
Yeah, very
good
good.
meeting you.
Yeah, I'll have to look at your YouTube thing.
Yeah, check it out. Paddling bow is fun.
I have space in my canoe too, because it's a 16.
Cool. That's great. Yeah, I say we just camp here, bud. What do you say?
Maybe, but this island is to put my canoe together.
Yeah. Well, we have just been deposited on this lonely island at the extreme headwater of the Hood River. Well, we're gonna camp on this cool island, pretty awesome, and ton of stuff to do to get dialed in. We hauled all our stuff up here to camp where there's a nice flat area, good spot to get this folding canoe put together and to pitch a tent.
These little plastic clips line up to the holes.
Uh-huh.
Okay, let it come forward. Okay.
Oh my God, it's so light. Just to give you an idea, it's probably 10 o'clock at night right now, or later. Sun's still pretty high in the sky. And we just kind of want to crash because we're exhausted. But what a beautiful spot, like so cool. The wind picked up a bit, it's keeping the bugs down, but they get vicious out here. Anyways, today dinner is going to be chicken curry with rice. Look at that, vacuum sealed, put away. So I made this dehydrated and vacuum sealed it. We had to come in so light for this trip. I did like a crazy mission of dehydrating food back at home. Nailed it. Well, it is the morning of day 2, really our first full day out here, and me and Ted slept hard. We needed to sleep hard. Got to work hard, sleep hard out here, and we didn't get out of the tent until like 9. It's kind of like sleeping with a searchlight in your face here in the Arctic. So I just basically draped like a shirt over my eyes. But oh man, it felt good to have a good night's sleep after all the prep and early flights and all that kind of stuff, and you know, not getting much sleep before the trip. Looks like we have a nice day. We're going to be starting off paddling into a headwind, and we have probably about 30 kilometers here of headwater lakes on the Hood River to get through before we get right into the river and into the rapids. So we're probably not going to get to the rapids today. We'll see. But we're going to try to bang off 15-20 clicks and hopefully get into some lake trout, because you know, after eating the dinners that I allotted for myself, I basically packed like side dinners, which I'm eating on top of lake trout or whatever fish we catch. This is pemmican that I made. This is really mushy. I don't know why. Some I made with beef tallow that I rendered, and maybe the heat is making it soft. The other stuff I have is like in solid bars. Well, here's the scene you've all been waiting for. Jim Baird eats porridge in the Arctic wilderness. You've seen me eat porridge in all kinds of settings, but not once yet in the barren lands of the Arctic. We are going that way. Just using a big Williams whitefish here, casting from shore, just lost a tank. This looks like a good eater. There we go, first fish of the trip, baby. That was awesome.
Yeah!
Yeah!
Amazing!
Looks like we don't have to worry about starving out here maybe after all, eh, Ted? We are on the water, baby. Well, doesn't get much more beautiful and perfect than this. The wind's even died down some. We had a headwind. Only problem is the bugs are keeping up to me. Ted's still like 100 miles back. Well, we are just cruising through extreme headwaters of the Hood River, and we're in the remote territory of Nunavut, Canada. This is the only province or territory in Canada that has no road access to it whatsoever. And personally, my personal opinion is I'd like to keep it that way. Oh, I saw the net. Yeah, that's a great eater size. Well, I made fast work out of that nice eating size lake trout, and I think this means that Ted and I are good for today for fish, eh, Ted? Got another one on here. Not nearly as big as the Leviathan I had on this morning that was running up my spool, but holy f***, dude! What in the f*** is this thing? Holy sh**. What the f***? Seeing this? I don't even know how I'm gonna land this. Wow. There she is. Woo, bye-bye. Yeah! That was awesome. Oh my God. I gotta put my rod away. We're not gonna get anywhere today. I just hooked into another one.
I'm jealous. I want to catch a fish too.
Just a baby. Well, we're just jumping off on a big open water crossing. About 1.6 clicks. So nothing bad, but we're in the Arctic. Conditions are good though. There's no white caps, slight quartering headwind, and not a cloud in the sky. So the low pressure is keeping up. I see some clouds starting to move in, but yeah, I can't ask for better weather really. Maybe a tailwind, but when you're paddling on these big Arctic lakes, sometimes you can get windbound for days and you can't go anywhere if you get weathered in. So I think we're pretty lucky to be starting off with pretty good conditions. Ted hooked into a giant fish. He's thinking solid 20-pound lake trout. When he went to net it, one of the prongs of the hook got tangled in the net. And then when he was trying to basically pull the net free, he just pulled the hook out of the fish's mouth and it got away at the last second. So he's pretty devastated. You know, we don't have a ton of time on the lakes, and I think that the bigger trout, we might get into more numbers on the river, but I think the bigger ones are going to be in this lake. I lost a giant one too earlier this morning. So anyways, the important thing is that we have enough fish to eat and all that. So
the fish kept pulling this way and my rod was on this way, so I tried to direct it in, but I basically just knocked the hook, like I got the hook snagged in the net as the head was coming in. And once the hook got snagged in the net, it was kind of game over.
Oh no, amigo. This is really snagged in a weird... Huh?
Should we swim for it?
Maybe, because this is snagged in a really weird spot, man. Knew we shouldn't have trolled on this side of the rock. Oh! So I just lost a lure. So I'm 2 lures down and pretty much on day 1. And Ted lost one. So we had to really cut back on the lures that we brought with us. Typically we don't lose too many. But we really had to cut back on the lures we brought with us to meet the floatplane payload. And now we're getting real worried. Gotten into something here. It's a good size for sure. Pulling my drag out. Fish seem to be biting. Me and Ted have made it basically nowhere today because the fishing's been so exciting. Using a massive lure. This could be 20-pounder. Oh man, my hand's getting sore. Yeah, this is probably 30-pound fish I got on right now. Ted! Oh, there we go. Something's happening there. That's a 20-pound fish probably there. Oh, it's not hooked that well. Oh, yeah! Yeah! Holy shit. Oh my god! Oh my god! Whoa! Easy there, big fella. I got a whale! Yeah! Woo! Wow, look at that. What a fish. Holy crap, we're gonna let this big boy go. Oh man, that's solid 15 pounds, I'd say. Yeah, 18 maybe. See ya, buddy. Yeah! It's barely hooked. Yeah! Yeah! Oh my god! Yeah, nice, bud. See you later, buddy. We see a place on top of this hill. We're gonna camp. We've made it basically nowhere today because we spent the entire day fishing and losing our precious lures. And we're gonna pull over because we think it might be windy and less buggy up there. Although it's not very windy, so we may be in for the full Barren Lands mosquito experience today. It's all part of it out here. Cold shoulder, closing time. You were begging me to stay till the sun rose. Cheers. Well, we've tried to get as bug-free as a location as possible. I mean, I'm out here in a t-shirt, so I guess we didn't totally blow it, but I don't think we could have done much better. Wow, what a day. I think we only made it like 10K. We're supposed to be averaging like 25. There's over 100 kilometers of lakes to paddle on this trip. Somehow I didn't really realize, admittedly, portages in between them too. Epic fishing. Ted lost a giant, but you know, he got it right up to the boat and he was trying to actually land it, so it counts for something. A lot of the time, if you're fishing from a canoe, you land a giant like that, you're using barbless hooks, you don't even try to get the fish in. You look at it and you let it go. You take the hook out and you let it swim, and that way you're not even handling the fish at all. So as far as catch and release fishing goes, it's as good as it gets for making sure the fish gets away and lives. Just enjoying some single malt. I duct taped the label to my Nalgene bottle, because what's a lifestyle brand without the label? Do I remind you of your daddy in his 88 Ford? Labrador hanging out the passenger door. Today, my side is, I'm doing a little bit of the side because we have a lot of fish, but this is vegetable shrimp curry. You start with your curry base, so you got chopped up onions, you got some diced tomatoes, and I got red peppers in here. Then you got your shrimp in there, of course. 2 cups coconut milk and 1 zucchini, and this is for 4 servings. Good fish fry capped off the day, and beautiful, beautiful still waters out here. Gorgeous sun glowing in the sky, about as low as it's probably gonna get right now. And now we have what is my dehydrated meal. Wow, I thought I put too much water in it. Clearly that's not the case. Okay. Well, it is the end of day 2 And day 2 was, you know, borderline kind of get caught up on sleep day this morning and get dialed in on things. But then we got on the water and it became and slowly fish along the shore and not make any distance day as well. So I think we banged off like 10K, not even. We have 100 kilometers of lakes to paddle with like rapids and stuff in between. So we're gonna have to step it up tomorrow. But it was an amazing day. But as the song goes, why do all good things come to an end? Flames to dust, lovers to friends. The pop stars starting in the new bar, blah 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 blah. And I'm gonna turn in because I'm tired. And tomorrow we're gonna be portaging around raging rapids, slamming huge lake trout, and paddling endlessly. Hopefully we don't run out of lures. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It is the morning of day 3 here. We didn't get to bed till late yesterday, so we ended up kind of sleeping in a bit. The bugs were horrific this morning. I could just hear them dive bombing the tent, so maybe that's why I didn't crawl out of the tent. But a little bit of breeze is picked up here. When you're in the Arctic in the summer like this, a good idea to pick some spots that are a little more exposed so you get a little more wind, keeps the bugs down. Anyways, today we have to travel quite a distance. We got to make up a little time for yesterday. We probably won't be getting into any rapids, but we won't be able to essentially fish the entire day like we did yesterday. Before the next lake though, we have a stretch of river with some class 2s and 3s, and then a class 4, which will probably portage. So yeah, we're gonna be in epic whitewater back in these lakes. I'm sure the fishing will keep up as long as we don't lose all our lures, which just seems to be happening faster than we'd like. We'll be good. Putting on a little salmon seasoning, trying a little different this time. Last time we used the Old Bay, the Old Faithful.
Nice place for a coffee, Jim. Absolutely. Oh my goodness, what a day. We're having fish for breakfast.
At first I was like, I don't want fish for breakfast, but now look at this. It's
Right.
amazing.
Right. This smells better than the last one.
Ah, this one's good. Little one, eh? It wasn't even that little though, eh? Like, remember the
little one.
Yeah, it is. Remember the one I caught just at where we took out? Yeah. That would have been good, you know?
Yeah.
Fish. It's what's for breakfast. Woo! Woo! Oh, that's a lively one there. When you're fishing from shore, you run your drag out more because they don't pull the canoe. There's 2 big ones. I had one on, lost it, and then 2 of them were just hitting right here. Probably about like 15, another 15 maybe. Oh, don't go near that rock, dude. Woo! Woo! That's a big fish. Oh, there's two there. There's another giant trying to hit the lure in it. Look where it's hit. Oh, that's why it feels so big. It's snagged in the fin. I don't want to horse it in either because I can't afford to lose this lure. Nice and easy. Hello. Come to Papa. Yeah, it fought way crazier because of where it was hooked though, eh? There we go, he's hooked in the dorsal fin. But there's two down there. This was the smaller of the two. But so the fight was way crazier because it was hooked in the fin, but right in the fin, and he'll be a very safe release. Yeah! Amazing.
Dude, there's two fighting. He's after it, yeah.
They're both trying to bite the lure. Look. Still trying to get it.
I had him up.
It's a good spot to land him here because the rocks are really smooth and there's a little water runs up between there and there, so it's pretty good to safely land them. Okay, here we go. Goodbye campsite. Day 3, here we come. We gotta bang off solid 22K of flat water today. Well, we're gonna have to not troll because when we're fishing, as soon as you hook into like the average size fish here, it's a 10-minute battle that could blow you back across the lake. So we did a little fishing this morning, and we're actually going to try to make some distance today to start off. Super fun morning though. Starting the day off, beautiful day, slept in, coffees, fish fry for breakfast, that was delicious. Followed by Fish Slam Fest. Well, we have been paddling. We got actually slight tailwind here, and the weather is still on our side. Some clouds moving in, so we might get some low pressure blowing in later today or tomorrow, but right now it is beauty. So pretty awesome way to start the day. And we haven't been fishing, which is challenging for us, but because of that, we've been making far better time than yesterday. And we're just creeping down the shore of Lake Tehikafaluk, and it's an absolutely beautiful day. You know, we just kind of, when we're out here, we sort of eat lunch on the fly. So I just kind of ate some granola bars type thing, and granola bar-y, energy bar-y things, Built bars or whatever, and some trail mix. And so we're pretty confident that we can catch fish more or less at will. So we're not like super worried about catching a fish to eat yet. So we can do that when we get a little further along. Yeah, I say we just camp at the end of the lake. We had to do some tricky navigating through a bunch of islands, and our route took a hard left turn. And you know what? It's very contrasting, this country, to see the flat islands up against a mountain in the background, and where's the point? It blends in behind it. So it's even harder really to read the country. So we were able to navigate through those islands without using the GPS, just by, you know, looking at our maps and looking around and figuring. We've been, you know, paddling at a good clip, and we're thinking that we're just going to take advantage of this weather and make it to the opposite end of this lake today, which is where our first whitewater will begin.
Yeah.
Good eater size?
Yeah, for sure. Really
Nice.
good eater. Look.
Nice. Okay, well, we're gonna make camp on this big island right near the mouth of the Hood River, just because we feel like it looks windswept and less buggy.
Pretty big willows here, dude.
Oh yeah. Alright, we're going back to the salmon seasoning. And my side today is macaroni and cheese, or shells, little pasta shells. I forget, it's not just regular Kraft macaroni, it's like the one with the little bunny on the front, and it's like organic. I think it's for the children, I stole it. And we'll put that to sleep for like 10-15 minutes. Hopefully it'll still be warm, should be. Next up, the fish. Look at that. Delish. Ted said it wasn't done enough for him, so he gave me this first round, and
You sent it back to the kitchen.
I think it's perfect personally, but
Forever young, I wanna be forever young.
do you really want to live forever? Forever young, I want to be forever young. Do you really want to live forever? This is good, dude.
Looks good.
That looks perfect to me. Okay, let's see how this macaroni and cheese turned out.
Dude, when you let them sit, it'll just keep thickening up. Like yesterday, I put in definitely too much water on purpose. I did it on purpose, but then I had left it for so long after cooking the fish, it was like thicker than I wanted it to be. You know?
Okie dokie. It is the end of day 3, and pretty like uneventful day, as in no sort of major challenges other than, you know, paddling a solid 20K. But man, was it ever beautiful. Slight tailwind. Didn't really fish much because, to be honest with you, we just needed to make time. We don't want to lose any more lures, and whenever you hook into something big, it takes like 10-15 minutes to land it. And so we had a really big fishing day yesterday. We caught some nice ones this morning right at the, you know, right where we put in from camp. And then as soon as we needed to catch food for dinner, bam, Ted nails a perfect one. I lost another nice one. sun, and we got here and there's not really a good spot to fish off this campsite, but other than that, super beautiful. It's an esker. Just you can tell the you know, everything here, it was just so recently glaciated. An esker is actually, it's a bump like this, but at one time it was contained in ice. It's actually the pathway of a river that once traveled under the ice sheet, and just all that buildup of sediment, I guess, that was contained by the ice itself. I don't really know, but it almost looks like a river bottom turned inside out, and it just winds off through the country like a snake. Pretty awesome. Anyways, Ted actually managed to gather a good pile of sticks here from this island, so we will likely use the stick stove in the morning, conserve some gas, and use the stick stove to boil water. But it's really not enough to warm yourself up if you're hypothermic. So anywho, yeah, white water and more beautiful stuff. Sure, we're gonna start seeing some wildlife soon too. But I am going to turn in for another well-deserved sleep and try to make it an earlier day tomorrow. Good morning. It is another beautiful day in the far north, and this is day 4 of our adventure. Camped on this island here, not much wind, so the bugs attacked us this morning. So it's about 6:30 right now, and I think we're going to use the stick stove this morning. Ted collected a bunch of twigs and sticks from the willow bushes around here, so we're going to boil our water using wood and save a little bit of gas. The first order of the day is going to just be crossing this bit of the bay here and then jumping into the Hood River. If it's going to be another scorcher, I have to decide whether I put my dry suit on or not, because we're starting the day out with some rapids. Don't we have a class 3?
2, then 3.
Yeah,
then
so we have a class 3.
Class 4.
So I might put on my bottom, my dry suit bottoms, but it's going to be pretty uncomfortable. So maybe I just leave it accessible and like whip it on before I run the rapids. I don't know. I should have been a cowboy. I should have learned to rope and ride. Riding my 6-shooter, riding my pony on a cattle drive. Stealing a young girl's heart, just like Gene and Roy, singing those campfire songs. I should have been a cowboy. And once you're through the one verse of Toby Keith's Cowboy, while spinning, that's how you know it's ready. 2 verses, maybe your coffee will be a little strong because now it's sat too long. Just the chorus, you're gonna be chewing it. So I've already stirred my coffee with a shotgun, a paddle. Well, I guess Ted's chair will do in a pinch. Well, you're probably wondering what you do with all this garbage. Granola bar wrappers, my vacuum seal packages, that kind of stuff. Now, you know, ideally you don't want to burn garbage because it's not
kind of a survival thing too.
Yeah, but I'll save the Ziploc because I can reuse that. But the issue is that all this stuff starts to stink, and it just gets nasty. And then it starts to attract bears, which has actually happened to me before. I guess you could wash off every little piece of garbage, but then you're carrying it around, and then at the end of the day, typically when you get back to a northern community, if you want to throw it out there, they just burn the dumps there anyway. So probably advisable, especially when you're heading into polar bear country, to burn off your garbage. Now you don't want to do it without some sticks, or else you're going to leave like clumps of like burnt plastic behind. So it's, you really, to do it properly, you really have to have a bunch of wood. So because we have some wood left over, we're gonna take the opportunity to just burn off some of our garbage. Probably 10 o'clock right now. And we are on the water. Just have to paddle around this island, and a crossing will be in the first bit of current of this trip. This one looks sketchy! Hit a rock. See, that would be a problem for Ted. I didn't really scout it or take the best route. So yeah, the water looks pretty low, so maybe we're gonna have pretty low water. Well, here's my lunch today. This is blueberry pemmican. I made this pemmican at home myself. Big old chunk. I dried and pulverized the berries, dried them out just in the oven on low, used the dehydrator, blasted them all up with a coffee grinder. This one actually started by buying a large beef brisket and used the fat off of it to render too. It's really good. Like, this is what the voyageurs used to eat. It was traded heavily with the Métis on the plains of Canada with the Northwest Company. Basically fueled the fur trade. At that time, traditionally it was made with bison. Sometimes there's no berries in it, but when there are berries, it won't last as long. It has an extremely long shelf life. When there's no berries, it doesn't provide vitamin C and stuff, but it will last longer. And when you're hungry and your body needs a fuel, you get a taste for it, and it just starts tasting delicious. Also can be used in stews and stuff like that. I don't know if you can see it, but there's a draw. Does this say it's a 3? You might have to like line around here. I'll tell you, it looks like I might be able to get down here though. Yeah, it looks like you could get down here, Ted. Just get over and back ferry into this eddy right here. Oh, there's a fucking rock right there. I hit a rock. Wow. Low water so far is really slowing us down because Ted's packed canoe. He doesn't want to be scraping over rocks like I just did there. You know, you get what you get when you come out here. And I think oftentimes the Hood River is run at relatively low water. And that's because the headwater lakes hold their ice for so long. By the time a floatplane can land on an open section of the lake, the river has already gone down some. So it's fairly common that it's run at lower levels. But because this past winter there was so little snow and it was an early spring, I think this is lower than typical. But you know, rivers are always lower in their upper stretches. So you know, here having a portage and wade some of these rapids that in higher water you can run means some of the class 4s will be class 3s. And maybe we'll be able to run some of the higher volume rapids that would otherwise be portages, essentially. Approaching a waterfall. We are just in the midst of fair-sized portage around this beautiful falls. River just goes into a tight channel, rapids, and then pours down this last drop. It's just awesome. And yeah, 3 trips per portage because of the camera gear, but all my bags are a little lighter because we were forced to meet the weight restrictions. So that makes it a little easier, but still feeling it after that one. And gonna go back and get the canoe next. It's looking like probably today we're gonna have up to 3 more portages before we get back into a lake where we can get some miles behind us. So yeah, too bad that those first 2 weren't runnable, but gotta just take things as they come out here, and overall I'm feeling pretty good. So anyways, time to go back for the next load. Oh, snag. Told you it was too shallow, Ted. Immediately snag. Enraging. I was kind of blaming Ted because I'm like, I don't think we're gonna get snagged here, too shallow. He's like, oh, let's just do it for the shot then. Immediately got snagged. No lures left, and then he was trying to unsnag me. He's being super helpful, but when he's trying to unsnag me, he broke my line with his paddle. So now I'm gonna swim out there and try to unsnag me, and Ted's gonna just hold on to the spot, and I'm gonna put my dry suit and swim down to it and get it.
So, see where it's slotted? See that? See that thing? Why don't you put your paddle in that slot?
Hold on, just hold my paddle. I don't know.
It's here, but like this is the thing, I couldn't pry the rock.
So if I move that rock, then I'll get it?
Yeah, it's like between, see this big rock, this little rock, fuck,
Okay.
it's filling up.
Here we go, I'm gonna go get it, ready? Dude, how was that hidden? Oh my god!
You never would have got it.
Oh my god! Dude, did you see how jammed under that was?
Fucking dinner plate.
Well, that was interesting. Not really what we had planned, but hey, it's a nicer day today, so that's good. Well, back on the water after that rod debacle, or that lure debacle. Didn't exactly get much fishing in. Crazy, I smell forest fire smoke in the air. It's a good eater, Ted. I think I'll keep that one. That's about as small as they get around here. Pulled over here to scout the next rapid, and it looks like we can run it. A little more water in here than the other ones. Okay, well, we have a runnable rapid here. was pretty tricky. Scraped over a rock there, hitting that last hole. Fun. Water in the canoe there. This is quite the portage. Super rugged, up a big mountain. It just keeps on going. Okay, back on the water after a long portage. We are jumping right into a rapid with a lot of boulders. Ted's gonna have a hell of a time getting down here. The wind's just blowing me sideways too. I'm worried about Ted ripping holes in his pack canoe. I don't know if I could have taken a better route. And plus, when I'm trying to back ferry and side slip right, but I got a hard wind pushing me left. Oh, nice. Well, through that melee, but now we're in a wide, boulder-riddled stretch of river. Might have to jump out at any point. Well, we were thinking we were getting where we needed to get to, and then we hit this. This is supposed to be an easy class 2, and it's not even a wade. It's borderline a portage. We're gonna try to wade it. Ted's gonna have to take out bags of his boat and put them back in and out of the boat to lighten it up. I'm gonna have to like do some damage dragging over rocks. Really, we probably should be portaging, but it's just a raging boulder field here. This is just how she goes. Crazy, very low water. And we have just been going at this all day for hours and hours. This is a never-ending drag slash portage. We should have been halfway down the lake by now, so I think I'll be okay. And a little more dragging to come, but hopefully once we're past this next headwater lake, we have some more tributaries coming into the river. This super low water won't be really holding us back like it is today. So anyways, time to move on. Yo! That felt good. So we're at another portage. We're probably just gonna camp here. It's taken us over 12 hours to make it 6 kilometers today because of the low water. But anyways, there's all kinds of obstructions stacked here, so we'll be able to make better time as we get more into it. I wonder what Franklin's comments were on this stretch of river here. We made it to camp and the black flies are vicious. We both had to bug jack it up. We were just like randomly clapping in the air and killing like 15, 20 at a time. We kept a couple nice eating sized lake trout today. So we put them in the fridge, AKA in a couple Ziploc bags into a larger bag with a rock and sunk them in the cold water to keep them. And we'll probably eat those for breakfast or who knows, maybe a shore lunch or something, depending on how we're feeling. And just eat something fast today since it's probably already like 11. My pants. They won't even buy me a drink first. Oh my god. Die. Okay. We have chicken curry with rice. Alright, that's a good bit. Just gonna drink it right through here, look. And that way, it filters out all the dead mosquitoes in your hot chocolate. You can't realistically bring this whole thing. Oh man, I put way too much water in it this time. Oh, good though.
I find that if you let it sit for like another like 8 minutes, it still thickens up. I kind of like it a bit watery.
No, this one's stupidly watery. Yeah, I think we only made it like 6 kilometers today after giving her for what turned out to be about 12 and a half hours. But we were rewarded by this awesome campsite that's just basically kind of on a point, I guess. The river curves around us in a horseshoe with a rapid below, and we're perched well above the rapid, almost like a big turret. And it's beautiful. We have a 360 degrees view of the surrounding rugged hills and tundra and the river winding down to the large lake that's below us in elevation. So that's really cool, and we're really looking forward to traveling across that lake tomorrow and hopefully smashing a huge lake trout, because we didn't get the chance to do that today. And really looking forward to seeing what tomorrow has in store. Hopefully the weather keeps up. That would be awesome. I'm going to go in the tent and have nightmares about black flies carrying me off into the abyss. Ted made instant coffee this morning. It comes with creamer in it, or did you add it? Ted added it, which is an advanced bushcraft maneuver. So he had instant coffee, then he dumped creamer in the same bag. Anyways, we're gonna get this fish on, and essentially we're camped mid-portage, so I'm gonna take my stuff from camp down to the end of the portage trail, double back, get the canoes, bring them to the end of the portage trail, and then it kind of feels like, you know, we're not really portaging because we camped along the way. It doesn't feel as bad. But then we have like another obstruction just downriver, which I don't know, we might be able to run. We don't know, but it looks like it'd be a short portage if we have to carry. And then we're home free through this super low water, obstruction choked stretch of river. You can see the water's low. I put my first load in over there, but you can see this would be where you typically want to leave your gear, and the water would be up to there, probably for a lot of people's trips. That's where we were camped, up there. Finally on the water, just in a little bay here, between this and our last rapid. Man, it just seemed like it's taking us forever to get through this stretch of river. It's real late getting on the water, all-time record potentially. Hoping to make it a decent distance and get into some big lake trout today. There's the final rapid. Looks like we might be able to line it. Well, I think the best option is just portage as quickly as possible. Just basically goes over a point, so just too shallow to really line and too shallow to run. The takeout was pretty tough over there, so I just paddled over to the island that's in the middle of this rapid, and it's an easy carry over the island, or maybe I could scout that side and line down and skip the portage. Always looking to skip the portage. Ted's over there portaging. Looks like I might be able to line down here. Pretty rocky in here, so I wouldn't want to do it with Ted's canoe. There's one. Oh. Woo! Hello. Come to Papa. Single barbless hook. So easy to take out. That would actually be a nice keeper. Nice eater. There we go. Might keep that one. Rock good whiskey gonna ease my mind. How the hell are you gonna ease mine? Sand from your hair blowing in my eyes. Blame it on the beach, grown men don't cry. Do I remind you of your daddy in his 88 Ford? Labrador hanging out the passenger door. Doesn't feel huge. And that's almost too small for this fish, right? There we go. Pretty good one. Pretty good fish. You there, buddy? That thing barely even fit in the net. The one that I caught before was like double the size of that, you know? Couple nice ones there. That one wasn't very big. That's like, I don't know about this lake, but probably about average. The other lake, that would have been small for sure. Yeah, so we probably have about 2.5 clicks to go. Pretty long paddle on this narrow winding lake. It's almost like a wide river with no current really, but a big bay. And we should be at camp soon. That wind died down. The black flies have found us. Not quite as vicious as yesterday, but still pretty bad. Do a random clap. Oh, yeah, there you go. That's a good random clap. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. 18. My all-time record is 52 in Labrador. I'm gonna do it up with some Cajun fish crisp and pan fried. So I took the skin off, cut it into little chunks. It's gonna be real good. Okay, we are at the cooking fish portion of our day. This is the fish. By the way, you might be noticing this. I didn't film any of it, but I cut my finger cleaning the fillet knife. There's a lot of blood. Shake that up. Nice even coating.
Anyways, Ted and I are gonna finish up our fish. Look at that. So anyways, we're gonna finish this last round of fish and turn in. Good day today, other than the boo-boo that I got. Well, it is the morning of day 7, and it's still really still out there with no wind. And we thought it was raining for a couple minutes when we woke up, but really all it is black flies pinging off the tent. So I think the bugs are gonna be bad. But yeah, gonna jump on the river after coffee and breakfast, clad in our bug nets, and hopefully we have a fun little rapid to start the day off with.
Well, Ted's cooking up a little fish. I caught a little tiny, like brook trout size laker, and it hit my like enormous dinner plate spoon and was immediately dispatched. So we decided to keep it and eat it. That's my share of the trout. This one was cooked up the way I love to do small trout, little slices in the outside, which I think is actually like a Turkish thing. Okay, we are on the water, day 6. Pretty steady wind that's not exactly in our favor, but definitely not a headwind, which is awesome. Still have a long distance in lake paddling to do today, and we're gonna try to get ahead and have a faster day today. We didn't get on the water till about noon because we didn't wake up till 9, so we want to have a long day and get back on schedule. So that might mean not sleeping much tonight. Ted's trying to get me to duct tape my paddles together to make a double blade to save time and paddle with duct tape paddles together, and told me that the only reason I said no was because of my ego, which is pretty interesting. So yeah, you might get to see me punch Ted in the face pretty soon out here. He's always trying to get me to duct tape paddles together into double blades all the time. It's just like so enraging. So I refused, but I don't think we're really in a big rush. I think Ted's kind of concerned that we're falling too far behind because of the issue, and he's kind of right, because the issue of the low water has made things take a lot longer, and when you mix that with Ted's never-ending bungling all the time, you start falling really far behind. So anyways, I think we'll be okay once we get into the rapids and the river, but the issue is that the low water means we can't just quickly run down the rapids. We have to get out and drag or portage, things that would just be very brief little stretch that we just float down. So, but anyways, yeah, we're gonna try to bang off a good portion of lake travel today. And who knows, maybe we can line this one coming up. We've got another beautiful day though. This high pressure's pretty much been sticking around, so I don't know, can't stay nice forever. Probably means we're gonna get something pretty fierce at some point, but I'll take the weather while we can. Yeah, like this might almost have just been faster to start portaging, dude. Look at this. You know? decided to line down the top of the rapid here and portage the end. We were hoping the final part of this rapid would be runnable, but the water's just too low. So again, the low water is really making things take longer because it's just so low that we can't paddle large stretches of river. Oh man, this is another low water stretch right after this portage. Looks like we're gonna have to wade down this too, man. Bummer. Okay, back on the water after what was a pretty long portage, and I'm trying to run the rapid that follows the portage, but I'm worried I'm gonna run out of water pretty quick because it's super shallow, so I might have to just like jump out of the boat at any turn or get hung up. Hopefully everything's okay. Was an SHIT show. The end, there's just no water left, and
Water's like nice.
yeah, we had to just basically pick up and carry inch by inch to make it down. Crazy. But we're on the next lake. This is the widest lake of all of them. Beautiful clear water as usual. So me and Ted have decided to cut off a massive bay on this very wide lake, the widest headwater lake of the Hood River. You know, it almost feels like we're just paddling down the middle of the lake, basically. It's a cool feeling, and there's no bugs. So a couple black flies just came along as stowaways. Well, we're just cruising along here, and we just saw all these fish tails, like a ton of lake trout were all feeding right at the top of the water. Oh yeah, there's one. Oh. So fun. Not even, whoa! This isn't even a particularly big one, but it's feisty as hell. Bam! Landed me a Laker. I'm coming from the rain. Clouds and misty morning. Oh, oh, oh. Stay, stay. Stay, bad boy. It's a good eating size. That was really cool. We saw some lake trout feeding, and I took a cast into the group and sight fish, caught a nice one, and then Ted had a feeling like something was staring at him. We looked over, and sure enough, it looked like a moose on shore, because there's barren land moose. A lot of people don't realize that's a thing. I don't know if they winter in the Barrens, but they're here in the summer, clearly. We're standing in deep water. It didn't look big. So we slowly paddled up to it, and sure enough, it was a big old moose there. Looked like it made some semi-ferocious sounds there, but decided that it would rather run away from us than take us on, I suppose. Well, we just pulled over at the side of this lake, and we're gonna go search for an Inuit historical site, potentially an old stone fox trap and a cave that might have been used for shelter or to cache food and whatnot. So this was built by Inuit people traveling on the land. I don't know how long ago. Could be 400 years ago, could be 100 years ago, but very cool, and it hasn't been disturbed much, but it's very likely a food cache. You can see these two large rocks at the bottom with flat rocks placed on top, and you can just, there's a lot of space in there to store food, and then a bunch of heavy rocks on top, so it's very hard for things to remove them. And then these rocks in the front here, they would lean up against the entrance when more rocks would be placed in the way of those, and if they couldn't carry everything back with them, they preserve the food, cache it here, then they know there'd be a good chance it'd still be there when they're traveling up this way, and they could plan accordingly or come back and get it when they have more people or a bigger dog team or whatnot. Do you think people sleep in here? Nice and cool in here. Now you see this rock placed by the door here would perfectly fit in the door there, and other rocks would have been used to seal it up. Just cool to come to a place where stuff like this hasn't been disturbed, because there's just not the people coming in and taking things from it or not knowing what it is, and you know, that kind of stuff. So just lack of people, and whatever people do travel the land here, respectful, and we have something that's relatively untouched for 100 years. It really gives you a window into the lives of those people of the far north and how they lived. So yeah, I'm guessing the caribou migration came through here at one time. It certainly looks like place caribou would migrate through, but and they're ambushed and taken in large numbers, and the meat was dried or preserved as best as possible if it was you know, not in the winter, and the meat was cached here. My guess is that these rocks have all been chosen and fit almost perfectly to fill this gap up. So I think this would have also been used as a cache space right down in these cool rocks here and protected from animals and birds. This random rock here looks kind of out of place, almost like a petrified wood or a sandstone. It's all crystallized, looks naturally occurring, but almost like it was selected for a purpose. Tie a line to hold cordage. It's very light. I don't know, but let me know what you think, and I'm gonna leave it here because I'm gonna assume that this is part of this cool historical site. I'm gonna paddle away from the black flies that absolutely attacked me at the end of that hike. Well, coming up to a bouldery rapid here. Looks pretty sketchy. That's a clump of muskox they're shedding at this time, and it's so soft and warm, like you could weave this and make a sweater. Almost like it has its own heat source. It's so cool. Hopefully we see some muskox. They're almost like a forgotten animal to a lot of people in the south. They almost look like a buffalo, but their closest North American relative is actually the bighorn sheep. Really cool animal that lives in the Arctic and way up into the high Arctic. Well, just giving this rapid a quick scout, looks pretty straightforward, and it looks like there's enough water. Yes! Oh, that's so relieving. See how it is down there though. That one might cause some issues. This is called Lentz Lake.
This is fucking uncomfortable. Needed a break.
So we have about 6K to make it to the area we want to camp. Looks pretty cool on the topographic map. Looks like a big cliff on the right and a rapid there. So hopefully there's a flat spot we can make a tent. We can pitch a tent. But yeah, solid 6K left of paddling. Nice flat calm water, but no breeze to keep the bugs down. So hopefully too many of them don't follow us into the middle of the lake. But either way, we're probably gonna get swarmed when we get to camp today, which is kind of becoming the norm. Ted's got another one. It's loaded in here, eh? Can't paddle far before we get one. Look, boom. Oh, you soaked me, you bastard. Oh, got off. Wow, it's so beautiful out right now. This is the first time it's been just dead calm. We are gonna have to move on from this spot. What a day. glide down over my home. I wanna write your name in the sky. I wanna free fall out into nothing. I wanna leave this world for a while. Well, it is quite late in the evening, but I'm just paddling up to a long rapid and where we're gonna camp tonight. So we put this other lake behind us today, and that feels good. And man, was it ever a beautiful paddle. Something tells me with the lack of wind, we're gonna get eaten alive at camp today though. But we're gonna try to turn in quickly today. We actually didn't keep a fish, so we're gonna eat a dehydrated meal and crawl into bed, sleep hard, and try to get an earlier start tomorrow. So looks like a nice spot, flat and beautiful scenery in the background, so can't ask for more than that. Getting in. Alrighty.
These things are just biting.
Sitting down in a cloud of black flies. They're somehow getting through my pants and biting like my skin. I can feel like them like flying around in my pants. But
In Labrador, at least they left at night, eh?
yeah, because it got dark and cold. Just gonna have a wee nip. Oh, that's good. This is McClellan's single malt scotch. It's an Islay, so it's real peaty tasting. Actually a very well priced single malt too. So like a true Scotsman, you can cheap out and get that and still get single malt.
Mexican style grilled chicken bowl for you. I ate it yesterday or something, so I give you this one. These are just the ones I pulled out. And I'm having pork pad thai.
What a day today. And Ted and I, we ate fish for breakfast. Totally delicious breakfast with fish. Really cool moose sighting. I mean, we've had good ones in Algonquin Park, but that just the way that it looked at us and it got up and we thought it was small and it got out of the water, it was huge. Just big, healthy, powerful animal. So good to see them that healthy and doing so well. And also just crazy to see a moose this high up into the Barren lands, but apparently
The calls.
yeah, and the calls it made, that was kind of scary. But yeah, moose come up. I don't think they winter here. They come way up into the Barren lands. More rare, but you know, we've seen a lot of caribou sign again. There's like tons of caribou sign all around here, so it's only a matter of time till we see caribou. I think the really hot weather has been sort of holding the animals. They don't want to move around so much when it's that hot, so maybe why we haven't been seeing as much, but sooner or later they're going to have to move regardless, so we will soon. Also, we're getting into the river where it's just easier to see animals as well. Anyways, tomorrow we're jumping off with a rapid. It's just down from here and it looks like it's going to be a pretty straightforward, easy float. Then we paddle a lake and then we have what might be a pretty intense rapid. We're both concerned with these super low water levels. Are they just going to be like horrible portages or just like sketchy drags? Because Ted with his pack boat, it just can't take the kind of beating that low water and boulders wants to give it. So not too bad. Cheers, Ted. Cheers, buddy.
Cheers.
Yeah, good times. sitting down for a morning cup of coffee when black flies crawl and penetrate your flesh in every open orifice and piece of skin. This is a first aid kit with antibiotics because, you know, when you have a cut like this, you can wind up in a lot of trouble. All right. Okay, ladies and germs, we are on the water after feeding the black flies for about 2.5 hours this morning. We've kind of just accepted that we're on a later schedule and that maybe it doesn't matter because it never gets dark. But fortunately, we have a bit of a wind, so we won't have to paddle in a cloud of black flies today. Although it's a headwind, unfortunately. Starting out with a long, shallow rapid and still struggling with the ultra low water conditions. But looks like the first one we can run, dodging some boulders. By the last set, it's looking like we might have to kind of get out and wade. But yeah, nothing too challenging. Again, it's just Ted's canoe being this material, this vinyl material and all that. You know, it can't really take smashing into rocks like this one can. All right, here we go. Run a little of the white water. We're running the white water, white water. Wow, what beautiful country. Just so rugged and mountainous. Just picking our way through this boulder field. Looks like we might have to get out and drag at some point, but we're gonna make it as far down as we can. No. Now this next part looks like we're gonna have to wade. Yikes. Not ideal for a pack canoe. Like, that canoe has a skin made out of vinyl. It's not a hard shell at all. Oh man. Yeah, Ted's saying if we had to wade this in Portage, it would have taken like 4 hours. So we're in the middle of a big crossing here. Should have stayed right and then jumped over where the lake narrowed, but sometimes you just make a decision, and Ted wants to make a decision. I just agree because you get lost in going back and forth about what you should do. But this probably wasn't the best choice. It's okay now, but I think lower pressure is moving in and we're getting some white caps. We're out in the middle of a cold Arctic lake here. It's about 11 kilometers long in a straight line. So after we finish this lake, we're gonna have what's likely the most challenging whitewater obstruction of the trip so far. I see what looks potentially like another moose. Getting closer to the end of this lake. It's been so far about a 10-kilometer paddle into consistent headwinds. Nothing too gusting, but had to work for that 10K. And looks like there's a little swift up here. Duct tape two paddles together to create a kayak paddle because he says I'm too fast, which naturally was a large ego boost to me. Yeah. So now we're in Esker Lake. So I guess we're going that way and that's the bay, right? We'll try to stay right and we'll be sheltered from this crosswind. Well, we have paddled probably about 25K now, late in the evening, but it's so beautiful out. We've got patches of snow and ice in the hills here still, and probably going to need to catch a fish pretty soon. Patches of current here, it's becoming more and more river-like with every stroke for the most part. Look at this little fatty here, huh? We decided to push on even though it was pretty late in the evening. Never gets dark here, of course, so how much that matters, I don't know. But typically the evenings have been calmer, then all of a sudden, pretty strong east wind, northeast wind picked up. And basically, you know, we were traveling through a narrow part of the lake, but essentially pushed us to the other side without even realizing it. And then waves got pretty big, so we're battling winds right now. And at this point, it's pretty much a headwind. Oh, the wind blew up on us. We're just trying to find a place to land the boats here without the waves crashing us on the rocks, but we've made it to where we're gonna camp. Hopefully there's a flat spot up there, but anyways, the wind is okay. As long as it doesn't keep up like this to tomorrow, we'll keep the bugs down, so it's any times. Long day on the water, paddle about 25 to 30K today. Okay, and I'm just gonna rehydrate some beef stew. Essentially, I'm just cutting up stewed beef into cubes, dusting it with a little flour, browning it in a pan, putting it aside, then taking my vegetables, carrots, celery, potatoes, onions, cutting them all up, and then putting it with my beef broth all together to just slow cook for a long time. And after it's done, I salt it, season it to taste, and then put it in the dehydrator racks in the oven on low or whatever I find. And again, I'm gonna have to eat it in one of Ted's empty freeze-dried meal baggies. I just bring my lard in a tub, just a tub of lard basically. Lard's it doesn't spill, it's lighter, and it's actually a whole food too. So some of the things you hear about some of these vegetable oils and canola oil and the process it goes through started to scare me as well. So, but first a wee dram. Oh, you take the high road and I'll take the low road, and I'll be in Scotland for ye. For me and my true love will never meet again on the bonny, bonny banks of Loch Lomond. So bad. Well, a little watery.
It's like a mommy's foot.
I never warmed it back up. Kind of tastes like a mummy's foot. All right, it is nighttime. See if I can get this done before I get attacked. So it's nighttime of day 7. It's probably about 11 o'clock. We paddled about 25 or to 30 kilometers today. So good day on the water considering we had a headwind for a lot of it. Didn't do a ton of fishing today, but when we thought it was about time to catch fish for dinner, dropped the line, and sure enough, perfect eating size laker came up about 5 minutes later. So pretty special that you can do that here. And tomorrow we're going to be finished this lake, weather permitting, if we don't get pinned here by wind, knock on wood. We'll be right into the thick of it. We'll right into the Hood River. We're going to be running rapids, and the current's going to be helping carry us too. Likely we're going to start seeing more wildlife with the narrower river, and the river also will likely have more vegetation along the banks, meaning there'll be more animals like muskox and caribou and predators that follow them too. So pretty awesome. We're also going to be getting into some Arctic char. There's going to be some more portages around beautiful falls, so lots of just absolutely gorgeous sights to see out here. So really excited for the rest of this trip, and I hope tomorrow, day 8, is going to be a good one. Good morning. It is the morning of day 8, and the wind died at some point in the night, and it's a beautiful morning. Cooled down a good little bit, but it was still really hot in the tent, which forced Ted and I to get up around 7. This is a massive lake, like just huge, and you never know what can happen, because you know, if the winds blow up, you could be windbound, so we don't want that to happen. But we have a ways to go on it. Got to round a big point, head out on a long stretch, and then basically after that we're done with the lakes, with the headwater lakes, and we'll have paddled 100 kilometers of headwater lakes, and you know, completed all the portages and other challenges in between them too, and we'll be in the Hood River proper, and we should have some white water today too, potentially a portage and another, what is seeming like it's likely going to be a fun run, just judging by the water level and stuff like that. So yeah, anyways, we're gonna get to it and get packed up and get on the water.
feel like, what did we do right to get this weather? Like the freaking weather gods are on our side here. The mosquitoes have joined us. Well, I've been making Ted coffee because the cowboy coffee is a little better than the instant, and I'm making it, so when we run out of mine we'll get it to Ted's more, but time for the spin. Ted's coffee cup is way bigger than mine, which I don't think is fair. So maybe I should give him the one with the grinds in it. Just to kind of balance things out here. Good coffee, good coffee. Okay, day 8. Back in the canoe. We're just rounding this point, and we see white caps, so we don't really know what's up. We might, if we really hug the shore, we might be kind of blocked from the wind, but we also don't want the wind to push us out into the lake.
Close too, in case we have to bust out our range.
And it looks like rain's coming from this direction too, so we'd have to climb out of the boat to access our rain gear. So yeah, we'll just kind of get into it, and if it's too dangerous, it's too dangerous. That's definitely a moose there. Yeah, no, that's definitely a moose. Right in the middle of my frame there. So we're hoping this might be the hardest stretch. We're staying close to shore just for safety, and we think the wind will be less through here, but after we can tuck in and get up close to those big cliffs, we might be more blocked. Tough to say. It's actually much more of a headwind than I'd anticipated it would be. Just made it to the end of the lake, and now we're crossing it, so a bit of a tailwind, but it looks like the winds have died down some, so in the end we did pretty good. We are officially through the headwater lakes and all the connecting river, so we've just paddled over 100 kilometers of flat water.
I think that kind of looks like a bear cub print. Yeah. Done the first trip of the portage, and as I was coming over this big esker, I looked at the view and I saw caribou hanging out on the side of the river. So maybe when we put the canoe in, we'll go see it, which is pretty cool. Oh my God, I have a beast, dude. I'm gonna need the net. This one's huge. It's a good size, dude. Fishing's better here than in the lake. Woo! Nice one. Goodbye, bud. Yeah! Woo! We're just near the put-in where I just caught that tank, and there's a little tributary rolling in. Ted noticed like 8 to 10 lake trout just basically in this little estuary from this creek, just sitting there chilling. Smaller size one, but like I've never seen anything quite like that before with lake trout. It's unbelievable. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 lake trout just all in here. So this little spot is loaded at the likes of something me and Ted have pretty much never seen. Trout I caught was, I don't know, probably 12 pounds, maybe more, but we're leaving. Such awesome habitat here for the fish. We were considering camping at the end of that portage trail, but it's the kind of place where if we got a big hammering of rain, we might get flooded. So we decided against it, and we're gonna continue on to the next set of rapids, and we'll probably camp there if there's a half decent spot. That was really cool. Just got to have a really good look at two healthy bull caribous, both with big racks and velvet still, of course. They're almost a little curious, a little spooky. They're sort of running back and forth, but I saw one, it ran away, and I thought, okay, I put my camera away. That was pretty awesome. I turned back, it's running back along the sandbar with another one. So there's two of them running past me. Pretty cool. Wow, I think this is probably the rapid coming up. Black Rock Rapid, named after a hedge fund. Just kidding. Apparently there's a huge black rock in it. I think we're gonna camp here. So far from up here, it looks pretty good. We have enough food, so we didn't keep a fish today, even though we caught some nice ones, and that'll just speed us up with getting to bed. You know, we'll eat some of the food we brought and make our load lighter, so we have less to carry around the gigantic portage that's coming up and the other small ones to get there. Well, we have gotten to camp late once again, but who cares? It was fixing to rain, but Ted put on his raincoat so it would stop, which worked. So I'm gonna make Thanksgiving dinner today. And essentially what Thanksgiving dinner is, it's actually a brilliant and easy way to do a dehydrated meal, because yeah, it's really good. And the only thing you actually have to dehydrate is turkey. So this is canned turkey. Then what you do is you buy craisins, you buy stovetop stuffing, you buy instant mashed potatoes, and you put all that in here like so, and then you add the turkey to that. I have the cranberries in here. You add the turkey to that and then you eat it. So it's not like, you know, Thanksgiving dinner, all the portions separated on your plate. It's sort of like all in one, but it tastes remarkably like Thanksgiving dinner, which is awesome. And I brought this gravy, turkey gravy. So I think I might just like dump, I've never tried this before, but I think I just might dump some of the powder in and see what happens. Gravy powder to it too. All right, we're gonna let that sit. All right, here we go. That is my Thanksgiving dinner. Maybe it could use a little more water. Nailed it, Ted. Good. Wow. How much caffeine?
Really strong.
Pretty f***ing strong.
Yeah, I think I put too much in yours with mine. Here, taste this. Look, your mine is maybe like.
Yours is a little weak. You want to just do a dump back and forth? Here, I'll dump it. Dump it more. One more, one more, one more. Way better. Once again, we've come to the part of the morning where I enjoy my bacon sandwich sans bread. It's like a bacon sandwich with bread, except you don't get all the carbs from the bread. I fit the mess kit in the food barrel. A real milestone of any canoe expedition. Today, we're starting the day off with a long rapid. Starts as like a class 2 boulder dodge and ends in like a pretty intense class 3. Then we have 2 more obstructions today, which might be runnable rapids. We really missed catching a fish for dinner. We ate our freeze-dried and dehydrated meals and we were like, man, I could really get a fish, but we didn't want to take the time. So tonight we're definitely going to do that and supplement our calories again. And then I think some of these portages around the waterfalls, maybe one we could run, one we have to carry, but I think they're going to be incredibly beautiful with eskers and everything. So I'm just really interested in just looking at the scenery that the Hood River here has in store for us. Okay, we are about to run a long boulder strewn rapid. The last part looks like a challenging class 3, but definitely the biggest whitewater challenge of this trip yet. Hopefully you see me down there with the open side of the canoe up. A lot of this in the approach, very long rapid. The hardest part about running the challenging parts is the lining up properly to it. All right, here we go. Just a fun big water run, baby. That was awesome. I can tell I'll have no problems. Never hit a rock. Yeah! How was that? That was awesome. Boat performed great in the big waves. Flex helped. I was able to kneel pretty good. I got the skirt done up, and yeah, a lot bigger. Oh, first cast. Oh, that's one of those red ones. Wow, dude. Okay, well, bombed the rapids, super fun, some big waves. Took in a bit of water, but no problem. And then proceeded to land a bunch of beautiful trout. Now we're back on the river. We have some swirly currents here and potentially some class 2s as the river takes a tight bend around this corner.
Could be a 3, but I
Really?
don't think so.
Anyways, yeah, just awesome. Looks like the day's getting nice, some high pressures rolling in. It's not, looks like the heat wave has ended, and as nice as it was to have some warm weather, it's much more tolerable. Gorgeous canyon pouring in here. Very awesome, beautiful, inspiring country here with these huge hills and eskers. And looks like there's a ledge at the end that maybe we should scout, but probably could get by it a hard right. Looks like there might be something pretty interesting at the end that potentially could dump you. I'm gonna try to run it down on the right. Potentially we should be scouting this. Nah. Oh shit, there's boulders here. Yeah, watch out for that. That was a wicked rapid. Yeah! That was awesome! You know what? Having the low volume upriver is making some of these rapids that would be class 4s downriver runnable. So in the end, maybe it wasn't so bad, but we'll have to see how she goes. I mean, this broad sweeping country is just sensational around here. We made it through a fun little whitewater section, ran a long bouldery rapid that was followed up by a big water class 3, and then picked our way down another one where there's a tight little ledge at the bottom that we had to run. That was fun, and then a couple more. And now we're just cruising in the current a little ways, and we'll get to a mandatory portage, which is a class 5. So this looks like it's going to be really beautiful too. I'm looking forward to seeing it. Not so much looking forward to carrying around it. What? I thought Ted said he saw. He said he saw a musk rock. So a musk rock is when you think you see a musk ox, but it turns out it's just a rock. Well, we are just pulling up to a portage around a crazy set of waterfalls. Looks very beautiful. Looks like it's going to be a long portage though, unfortunately. So just going to get her done. I don't know how long it's going to take, but we got 3 of these today. We're looking to do some fishing at the base of the final one. Back on the water here, and we're just trying to get through this stretch of river. The length of that one was deceiving how it looked on the map. You have to go way up a big hill, beautiful views, but it took a while. This is awesome though. I'm loving this trip. I'm a little stressed of feeling far behind, and some challenges with the low water conditions, and challenges with the canoes, as in Ted's boat being a packed canoe and not, being able to handle as much abuse. Really cool just looking at like what looks like a big mound of snow and ice, and must be just the remnants of an ancient glacier just holding on. Well, we've climbed up to this thing thinking maybe it was ice, and it's not. It's some sort of like crystallized clay deposit. Well, we thought maybe it was ice. It certainly isn't, but it's still pretty cool. It's like rock hard up here. So yeah, what's happened here is this is just an anomaly, this hunk of more harder packed clay soil. And as the glaciers retreated, it washed all the sand from these eskers, which are deposited by rivers, essentially, that flowed underneath massive ice sheets. And as all the sand eroded away, this didn't erode away because it's harder packed soil. So this was slowly exposed as a chunk of soil, and you can still almost see like patterns of water have rushed over it. Much of that is rain and wind, of course, now, but yeah, pretty cool. I'm glad we pulled over to check it out, but we better get back to the canoe and get going. Inuit Falls we're approaching right now. This one is like apparently a couple runnable, intense but runnable rapids, but from what I hear from the research I've done on this river, you don't want to run them because they're immediately followed up by a giant waterfall that is just something like 25 meters long. So if you were to dump, you couldn't, you might not get rescued, might whip over a falls to a sure death, and minimum your canoe would go over and be smashed to bits. So we're probably gonna run them. Just kidding. We're gonna go have a look. Maybe we can line them because it's low water, but probably we're gonna be doing 2 more portages here. Well, we scouted it out, gave it a good scout actually, and we decided we're just gonna run it just because at these water levels it's like just maybe barely a class 3, and the water is not nearly as pushy going up to the falls. There's 2 ledges before the falls, and I don't think if we dumped we'd even get pushed over the 2nd ledge. But still, we are running a rapid right above a 25-meter death waterfall, which always amps things up a little bit. The hardest part to this is going to be turning into it, I think, just the very top. Man, ran that real clean. Perfect run. Had to miss like a big hole there at the top. Was a little trickier than anticipated. Here comes Ted. Nice! Coming up, we have a portage around a 25-meter falls, which is huge. My notes say Inuit portage right, falls. The beauty of these 25-meter falls is breathtaking. Just don't go over them. Okay, noted. Well, I finished the portage, put my bags down by the water like we were gonna put in and paddle away, but it was late in the evening and I walked up to look at the falls and found this beautiful flat area. There's some evidence here of Inuit people camping back in the day. Likely this has been a camping area for a very long time, and it is absolutely beautiful. We're camping right by this falls, so I'm gonna catch a fish. I'm too tired to do much fishing because the portaging took longer. It was harder than anticipated as usual, but we were excited we could run those 2 rapids instead of having to portage those. So yeah, anyways, yeah, I'm gonna go take a couple casts and then we're gonna eat fish, we're gonna eat some dehydrated food and have a nice evening. Hopefully get to bed before too late. That is a thing of beauty right there. Look at that. But it's a little too big to keep, so I'm gonna let that beauty go. Well, I'm heading back to camp. I think the one Ted caught will be enough. Yeah, they weren't taking my lure this evening, and all I could catch was huge ones. So, but yeah, I mean, you can just stay up having fun. It's like a playground out here. But eventually, with this sun, you know, you don't want to go to sleep, and you got to, or you just get exhausted. And we got a big day tomorrow, so I'm gonna head back up to camp. We'll eat Ted's fish, and we'll have a, you know, dehydrated meal and crawl into bed. So today, Ted's cooking up the trout, and on the menu for old Jim is some Moroccan chickpea stew. So, Moroccan chickpea stew, it's actually a vegetarian dish. Really delicious. But first, we're gonna start with a cup of 5-minute rice. What do you think is a cup? Think that's a cup? No. Now? Maybe. Okay, I think that's about a cup. A little for good luck. You start with some onions, you cut them up, you fry them, you start adding your spices to the onions, a bunch of really interesting spices. You add your chickpeas. Basically, you just simmer it like you would any stew before putting it in the dehydrator, I think at about 140 for about 10 hours or so, and it's really good. Ted is just about to cook up the fish. Are you gonna hit that with some seasoning first? Oh yeah. Well, the fish is done. I'm gonna check in on my Moroccan chickpea stew. Whoa, that's a lot of food. Oh my God. It really expanded. Doesn't that look civilized? That's gonna be on the front cover of Backcountry Food with Jim and Ted. Well, it is about that time, ladies and germs. A couple of big portages today, probably all in just a bit shy of 2 miles of carrying. There's muskox poop right in front of these falls, which is just so cool. Like, as if it couldn't get any more amazingly beautiful. Imagine a herd of muskox grazing right here. Anyways, I'm going to climb in the tent for another well-deserved sleep and try to drag myself out of bed tomorrow morning after, you know, get a good 7 hours and get on with what is hopefully another awesome day.